speaker for the day is Commander Leslie Bartley.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning, and thank you for taking the time to be with us. I proudly wear the uniform of a commander in the United States Navy. If you're more familiar with the Army and the other forces, that would be about the same as a lieutenant colonel. I am retired and live with you here in the village. This is my way of honoring those who wore a uniform and lost their lives in one of the many wars of our nation in which it has been involved. You honor those brave souls by your presence here this morning. Thank you. Look around you, please, at this cemetery and the one over the hill behind you, Elmwood, as well as those that mark graves in the South Cemetery with a flag. The flag-marked headstones you see before you are reminders of the grave consequences of war. Ordinary Americans like you and me have done extraordinary things, losing their lives in pursuit of our freedom. If these, the greatest and the least of us who lie here in this peaceful place, could speak, they would tell us stories of what makes America what it is. This is a place to express our sorrow and rebuild our lives. Whether they died in the rice fields in the Mekong Delta, the sands of Iwo Jima, the dusty hell that is Iraq and Afghanistan, or the battlefield of Gettysburg, citizens like you and me are remembering them for the heroes they are at ceremonies today across the country. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about one such ceremony. Yeah, it's going on right now. The crowd should be gathering now in Bedford, Virginia. It's that way, about 680 miles, western part of Virginia. Now, I know you know where Blacksburg is. 33 people lost their lives there. Come back this way about 40 miles, just over Roanoke towards Lynchburg. That's Bedford. If you're an elk, you know where Bedford is. It's the home, the national home where retired elks go. That's the city. Well, it's actually a small town. What I have to tell you is about their contribution in World War II. The young kids here that I'm looking at, some of the uniforms of scouts. You're in school, you've heard about World War II. A lot of us older people lived it. Like 11 other Virginia communities, Bedford provided a company of soldiers when the National Guard's 116th Infantry Regiment was activated on February 3rd of 1941. Some 30 Bedford soldiers were still in that company on D-Day, June the 6th, 1944. Several more from Bedford were in other D-Day companies, including one who 2 years earlier had already landed on both North Africa and Sicily before coming ashore on D-Day at Omaha Beach with the Big Red One. Company A of the 116th Infantry assaulted Omaha Beach as part of the 1st Division's task force. You can imagine, my friends, hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops hidden away in England, training, hiding in barracks, camouflaged, waiting for the day when they would get the call to get on boats and ships and go over and start the war in Europe. England was being devastated by something called buzz bombs. Freedom was threatened. We had to fight back. This happened in 1944. One of the greatest armadas ever assembled, full of fighting men, landed on the beach in Omaha and tried to scale the cliffs of Normandy at point-blank range of the Nazis, who shot at them. By day's end, 19 of the company's Bedford soldiers were dead. 2 more Bedford soldiers died later in the Normandy campaign. Bedford's population before was about like Lyons, 3,200 people. Proportionally, this community suffered the nation's severest D-Day loss. Recognizing Bedford as emblematic of all communities, large and small, whose citizen soldiers served on D-Day, Congress warranted the establishment of the National D-Day Memorial. You can imagine 30 of your own citizens from Lyons going off to a battle somewhere, and only 9 of them come back. That's the devastation they faced. When you leave here today, please take a moment to read the weathered monuments where veterans of other wars are buried. Tell them they've got the flags right over here to my right next to the newly painted flagpole. There are veterans from 1861 to 1893. Those two in the back are from 1902 and 1906. There's one over behind one of the mayor. It's from 1916. Anybody here know Dick Renkert? Dick Renkert was a Lyons guy. He served in Korea as a Navy Petty Officer, 3rd class. He and Alice are buried over there. Dick survived the Korean War and died here in 2005. My friends, as I said last year, there are veterans and then there are combat veterans. 2 of the Lyons VFW color guards standing over there to my right saw combat. They survived. They are civilians like you and me, but take the time to be active members of the VFW post here in the village. They honor fallen comrades in the way only they can. Gentlemen, on behalf of a grateful nation, the state of New York, your friends and neighbors assembled here today, I salute you. As you leave here today and perhaps read the names on headstones, you'll note that resting here are corporals, sergeants, sailors, airmen. Over that hill, down on the other side on your right, is a rear admiral. My friends, the greatest and the least of us are here forever. God bless America. Thank you.
Girl Scouts would now place the flowers in the graves, please.